The number of soldiers in Cheng Xiaoyu's shadow army increased once again. After his second awakening as an S-rank hunter, he single-handedly defeated the ORC High Priest, an enemy with S-rank strength, and extracted his shadow, gaining his first War General class soldier. Additionally, he inherited the priest's subordinates, forming a shadow army of over 100 rank ORCs. After the raid team Cheng Xiaoyu had joined was completely wiped out, he had no choice but to reveal his true power in order to save their lives. He summoned his shadow army and launched a decisive battle against the priest's beast army. However, the ORC High Priest scoffed when he saw the shadow soldiers. "You're fighting me with this ragtag bunch." But Cheng Xiaoyu smiled confidently. Underestimating them could be dangerous. The moment he finished speaking, an immense wave of dark energy spread from Cheng Xiaoyu, enveloping half the palace. This was his new class skill after reaching level 70 King's Domain. Any soldier covered by shadow would receive a 50% boost to all attributes. The team members were dumbfounded. The strongest summoners in the world could only summon 2 beasts at a time, yet Cheng Xiaoyu had summoned an entire army. They couldn't believe a human could possess such terrifying mana. To test his strength, the ORC High Priest sent a squad of ORCs to attack. Seeing this, King Ein immediately used his taunting trap skill. However, the ORC's stats were too high, rendering the skill ineffective. Enraged, Ein charged in with his axe, engaging them in brutal melee combat. Elsewhere, the elegant knight Yegret danced through the enemy ranks with precision. Cheng Xiaoyu himself drew his short sword and began slaying ORC knights. Witnessing his skill, the team was shocked. His melee prowess rivaled even that of Vice President Xiaoyu. Why would such a powerful hunter pretend to be a porter? Meanwhile, Cheng Xiaoyu analyzed the battlefield. His army was only a quarter the size of the enemy's. With low defense, each shadow soldier had to respawn 3 to 4 times just to defeat a single ORC. He had to reduce enemy numbers fast. Just then, a massive explosion erupted behind him, wiping out all shadow soldiers and forcing a new wave of respawns. The ORC High Priest had cast a large-scale fire spell from the rear. He had discovered that each shadow resurrection drained Cheng Xiaoyu's mana. If he kept eliminating them quickly, Cheng would soon be out of power and become easy prey. But Cheng also noticed the High Priest's weakness. The 3 ORC war generals near him had never strayed from his side. He guessed they were guardians. After all, as a mage, the High Priest's own defense would be low. Cheng charged forward, short sword in hand, aiming to finish him off at close range, but a massive shield materialized in the air, blocking the attack. The priest sneered, "Pointless. The longer you waste time, the fewer soldiers you'll have." Cheng was knocked back by the shield, but he had noticed the magical energy powering it came from the 3 war generals. His current strength couldn't break it. With his troops at a disadvantage, he had no choice but to continue the brutal melee against the ORC army. Once again, the priest cast a wide area spell, instantly obliterating the shadow soldiers. But this time, Cheng Xiaoyu didn't revive them. Instead, he took out a mana potion. Since this was a regular dungeon, he could buy unlimited mana potions from the shop to replenish his strength. After recovering, he locked eyes with the priest. Now the real necromancer's domain begins. At that moment, the fallen ORCs were swallowed by shadow and became his shadow soldiers. The tide of battle turned instantly. Cheng Xiaoyu pointed at the high priest. "Not just them, you too will become one of my soldiers." The priest was stunned, but then a voice echoed in his mind, chaotic memories stirring. Could he be the king? He began questioning the system within him. Why are we even here? Why do I only have the fate of killing humans in my mind? The answer, no reason, just following orders. Out of control, the high priest suddenly commanded his generals to slaughter every human present, just as they were about to attack the raid members. King Ein, the White Bear, and Yegret blocked them. Their strength, already at a rank hunter level, was now boosted by King's Domain. The ORC generals were swiftly slain. Cheng Xiaoyu scoffed, "My generals appear to be superior," with the priest now at a disadvantage. The raid members regained courage and joined Cheng Xiaoyu in the fight. However, the priest's mind was falling apart under the system's influence. He cast a full field curse, disabling the raid members again, then hurled 45 different curses at Cheng Xiaoyu. Yet Cheng didn't even dodge. He took the hits head-on without a scratch. The priest was stunned. You can negate my curses?" Cheng patted his clothes. Archmage's blessing automatically nullifies all abnormal status effects. "Sorry, I'm immune to magic." He then handed the greedy spider to a magic soldier, who fired a fireball at the priest's shield. Without the generals supplying energy, the shield was weak as paper and shattered easily. The priest stared in disbelief and chose to go down with Cheng Xiaoyu. Meanwhile, all of this was being witnessed by Xiaoyu, who had just arrived and was frozen in shock. The summoned beast army in front of her shattered her understanding of hunters. She snapped back to reality only after seeing the wounded and rushed to ask what had happened, but before she got an answer, the priest let out a furious roar and cast all his curse spells on himself. His body rapidly expanded dozens of times. Seeing this, Xiaoyu ordered an immediate evacuation. But the Berserk High Priest had no intention of letting anyone escape and began indiscriminately attacking everything nearby. Cheng Xiaoyu looked at the now giant priest and smiled bitterly. Giants always triggered bad memories for him, under the priest's stomping. The shadow soldiers were wiped out rapidly, and Cheng quickly ran out of mana. The priest began condensing fire elements and launched them directly at Cheng. But as the explosion faded, Cheng was nowhere to be seen. The priest searched for him, only for Cheng to appear right in front of him, instantly teleporting and stabbing him in the eye with a short sword. Being bigger just makes you an easier target. Without guards, how can a mage block an assassin's strike? He kept slashing at the priest's weak spots. At that moment, Chief Wu arrived with reinforcements. While investigating why Cheng Xiaoyu had become a miner, he detected an enormous mana surge from the portal. Scans confirmed it had reached peak or rank dungeon levels, so he rushed in to help. The sight of the shadow ORCs shocked him. "What are those?" Xiaoyu calmly replied, "Those are that man's summoned beasts." Wu stared at the battlefield. "That man? You mean Hunter Cheng Xiaoyu? We sensed the mana outside and came to assist, but it seems we're not needed. I can't believe we're witnessing a solo dungeon raid. He's clearly a top-tier combat hunter, but he can also use summoning magic. Is he an all-around hunter?" Xiaoyu was stunned to hear this. Not only did Choi Jungying know him, even the head of the inspection division knew about Cheng. She immediately asked Wu, "Who exactly is Cheng Xiaoyu?" Wu sighed, "I don't have much intel on him either." Meanwhile, the priest, repeatedly struck by Cheng's attacks, was completely defeated. Cheng stared him down. For a mage, losing your guards means game over. At his command, the three fallen ORC generals reappeared behind him as shadow soldiers. They raised their giant swords and stabbed the priest together. The system notified Cheng that the dungeon boss had been defeated and loot dropped, but since this was a Hunter Bureau dungeon, Cheng didn't feel right claiming the rewards. He walked over to the priest's corpse instead. "Get up." Countless shadows engulfed the corpse. Before everyone's shocked eyes, the priest revived as a shadow soldier, now quiet and obedient. Cheng's army, which previously had only elite and knight classes, now gained a new general class. As expected of an ranked dungeon boss, "Your old name's too hard to remember. I'll call you Fang, since your teeth are pretty sharp," having gained the giant ORC's power. Cheng's harvest from this dungeon was immense. In front of everyone, he extracted shadows from over 100 ORCs. It wasn't until Chief Wu called his name that Cheng realized there were still others in the dungeon. "Damn! I got so caught up in fighting that I didn't notice Wu and Chao were here." As he wondered how to slip away, Chief Wu approached him and stated that Cheng's identity was top secret within the inspection division. No one was to reveal what they'd seen today. The raid team captain also came over with his members to thank Cheng for saving their lives. After returning the final notes entrusted to him, Cheng left with the inspection officers. Xiaoyu wanted to call out to him and ask something, but Zhao Hai interrupted. "Vice President, why are you holding a pickaxe? That's weird." Cha's face flushed red. "Does he think I'm weird too?" Zhao Hai tilted his head. "Wait, Vice President? Who's he?" Realizing her slip, Xiaoyu lowered her head, blushing even harder. It was official. Cheng Xiaoyu's identity as an S-rank hunter had finally been publicly announced. The moment the news broke, major guilds scrambled to invite him to join. The competition between top hunters Choi Jungying and Bai El Hao nearly escalated into a public fight over Cheng. But to everyone's surprise, Cheng Xiaoyu rejected all of them. He had decided to establish a guild of his own. After conquering the ranked dungeon, Cheng immediately went to meet Liu Chenhao, whose goal was to recruit him into the Flow Guild, backed by the largest conglomerate in Country H. However, Cheng refused. The Hunter Association president Gao Zhanli had warned him that given his S-rank status, joining any side would upset the delicate balance among the guilds and could destabilize society. So Cheng resolved to create a guild that belonged solely to himself. After all, he alone was as powerful as an entire army. Meanwhile, back at the four great hunter guilds, Choi Jungying was shocked to learn about Cheng Xiaoyu's actions during his team's dungeon raid. The team leader explained that, without Cheng's intervention, their entire team would have died. Choi never imagined that after the White Tiger Guild, even their hunter bureau would owe a life to Cheng, a man who could summon an army of beasts, move with assassin-like agility, and even turn dead magical beasts into allies. His abilities defied logic. Choi asked the team leader who was stronger, himself or Cheng Xiaoyu. The leader hesitated, then explained that team raids required division of roles: offense, defense, and support. Only through cooperation could a dungeon be cleared, but Cheng Xiaoyu didn't need a team. He could solo an entire dungeon with ease. Choi was shocked. Though he was known as humanity's ultimate weapon, he still needed teammates for support during a raid. That moment, he resolved to recruit Cheng Xiaoyu into his guild no matter what. Soon came the day of Cheng's second evaluation. Bai El Hao and Choi Jungying arrived early at the Hunter Association, only to find the place swarming with reporters. As they walked in, journalists surrounded them, asking if they were there to compete for Li Wencheng. Li Wencheng, a popular internet celebrity, was also being evaluated as a hunter that day. 2 years prior, he had received a lightning rating and had recently been scouted by the Xicheng Guild in a publicity stunt. He had scheduled a public press conference for the occasion. When asked, Bai and Choi clarified that they weren't there for Li Wencheng but for another important matter. Disappointed, the reporters backed off. While waiting for Cheng, Bai El-hao threw a jab at Choi. I heard the Hunter Bureau almost had a disaster yesterday. Choi didn't deny it. True, but we're doing better than the White Tiger Guild, who lost in a rank star. Bai, triggered by the remark, immediately challenged Choi, determined to win Cheng Xiaoyu over for his guild. Choi wasn't about to back down either. Just as a fight seemed inevitable, a familiar voice interrupted them. It was Lin Zigui, president of the Envoy Guild, wearing a smug grin. Gentlemen, are you really fighting over our Wencheng? Both Bai and Choi snapped, shouting, what a joke! We couldn't care less about Li Wencheng. Lin was left speechless, and Li Wencheng, unaware of the truth, smiled narcissistically, thinking the guild leaders were fighting over him. He strutted toward the crowd to accept interviews. At that moment, Cheng Xiaoyu arrived at the association's entrance. Seeing the crowd, he thought his identity had been leaked, but when no one recognized him, he quietly pushed through. Unexpectedly, Li Wencheng's bodyguards blocked his way, telling him no one was allowed in. Thinking Cheng was a troublemaker, Li Wencheng ordered his guards to remove him. Just then, a voice rang out behind them. It was President Gao Zhanli, who says he's not allowed in. He's my invited guest. Ignoring Li Wencheng's reaction, Gao personally escorted Cheng Xiaoyu inside. Leaving Li red-faced and fuming. To save face, Li attempted to go in for his evaluation, but Chief Wu suddenly appeared and blocked him. There's another awakened one undergoing their second evaluation. No one is allowed entry until after 11 a.m. Enraged, Li tried to incite the reporters to cause a scene. Why does he get to go in? Is he stronger than me? Chief Wu gave him a single look. His aura alone silenced Li Wencheng completely. Inside, Cheng saw Bai El-hao and Choi Jungying waiting for him. President Gao explained they'd been there for over an hour, with a new S-rank hunter appearing after 2 years, and the 4 great guilds having seen Cheng's abilities firsthand. It was clear they were eager to recruit him. They proceeded to the testing hall to evaluate Cheng's class. At first, he casually summoned a shadow soldier. The evaluator was stunned. Summoners were an extremely rare class. President Gao smiled. This isn't your full power, is it? Cheng sighed, realizing he couldn't hide it anymore after so many dungeon witnesses. So, right then and there, he summoned his full shadow army. I can summon over 100 of them. The 3 S-rank hunters were stunned. Bai El-hao was especially shocked. He could sense that Cheng's magic had greatly evolved since their encounter at the Red Portal, after Cheng received his S-rank hunter license. Bai tried to stop him to talk, but Cheng claimed he was busy and walked to the door. Bai didn't force him but warned, now isn't the time to walk away. Cheng didn't understand what he meant and pushed open the door only to be blinded by countless camera flashes. Across the nation, his face appeared on TV broadcasts. The moment Cheng completed his evaluation, the association had published his profile online. All major news outlets dropped their interviews with Li Wencheng and rushed to block the association's entrance. In an instant, the entire world learned Cheng Xiaoyu's identity. Elsewhere, Huang Dongsu, still recovering in Angic, also saw the news. Knowing Cheng was alive, he vowed to return and kill H.